this episode, we celebrate a true American hero, the V8, baby.
If you're gonna do it big.
The V8 really changed the game.
We got 5 rides that put the pedal to the metal and perform with pure power. We've got the weird and the wonderful.
It's a big giant lobster.
Why did you do that? Why not?
Classics with serious class.
Good old American muscle, and man, does it feel good.
And dreams that do come true.
I got the car specifically for that engine.
But when you've got the sweet sound of a V8 under the hood, you got smiles for every mile. First ride is a rare find. A car where its engine came first and the bodywork came second.
I had to have the Elephant. 1,000 horsepower, 975 foot-pounds of torque, 15 pounds of boost. It'll move pretty quick.
When you got your hands on a Elephant Supercharged V8 engine, what else do you need?
It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I couldn't let it pass me by.
This is the Dumbo Charger.
The Elephant was extremely difficult to get. You had to call an 800 number up to Detroit and basically get a reservation. No one was answering, so you had to leave voicemails. I left about 30 voicemails. Eventually, I got a call back, and they asked me, do you want this engine? And I said, yeah, please take my money.
With only 100 produced and costing $30,000, man, these are rare. Now all he has to do was find the perfect ride to call it home.
My favorite muscle car is a 68 Charger. It's exactly what I got. It's a very mean, aggressive car, just the stance. It looks like it's pissed off, especially whenever you hear the supercharger kick in. I got the car specifically for that engine. To be able to put it in a classic car like a 68 Charger was an unbelievable opportunity.
Growing up in Missouri, David always dreamt of owning a muscle car, but never thought he'd be able to afford one. David crafted this dreamy Dumbo himself with a little help from some local friends. It took 2 years to create this perfect ride.
So the engine set the precedent for the build. Obviously, it's the Elephant engine, so we wanted to go with an elephant theme. What better else than Dumbo? People see the Elephant logo and know exactly what it is. Here is the beast itself. This is the 1,000 horsepower Elephant engine. You can't see any wiring other than what's on the engine itself. I wanted to make it look as absolutely clean as humanly possible. You can look down the side of it and see the body lines. We made sure they were extra crisp. The car is squatted down. We wanted the ride height to be absolutely perfect. Got the Rushforth wheels. Of course, I went with the custom Wilwood calipers, 4-piston in the back, huge rotors.
But the detail in the Dumbo don't end there.
We blacked out everything so there's no chrome. Got rid of the old drip rail. We flush mounted the back glass so it's all seamless. The Frenching of the bumpers, we body worked it in to where you can't tell that there was ever a bumper there. Then of course the tail lights, that's a classic feature on the 68. Although trim, there's no chrome. We polished the heck out of it. It's like looking in a mirror. It was super important for me to keep the car looking original on the inside, but I wanted a modern touch to it, so the leather was sourced from Italy.
Brother, this must be one hell of a ride.
With the windows down, especially when you're rolling in town, it feels pretty darn good. It feels powerful. You can cruise and feel comfortable, but if you want to get a little aggressive, it feels like insanity. Everything about this car is perfect, in my opinion. I wouldn't change a dang thing.
From a choice Charger to a 789 looking mighty fine. Taking a ride in this next baby is like going back to the future.
What we wanted to create was classic, old school, with all today's technology.
1950s style meets 21st century know-how.
LS3 V8 engine is the perfect engine for the 789 because of its sound.
This is the 789.
Harley Earl was the studio designer for General Motors at the time, and he did a different car every year. All classic, very independent, and very different. The 789 started out with my partner and I were out having dinner, and he asked, what's your favorite car? What do you think would be a great car to do? And I said, oh, I like a 57 Chevy. I said, the 59 Bird in Flight, the wings in the back. So he started doing some napkin sketches of a 57 with a 59 rear end and kind of threw some sketches together and said, how about something like this? We finally got up enough guts to actually buy a brand new Corvette, strip it down, and then put 1,500 pounds of clay on it, sculpting the lines of a 57 Chevy and a 59 Chevy. I had to put some 58 in the middle to make it the 789.
Taking inspiration from three of his favorite Chevys, Gene decided to create his own. The front is a 57 Chevy Bel Air. The doors and side moldings are the 58 Impala, and the rear from a 59 Impala. The body was fabricated out of carbon fiber composite with a layer of fiberglass to give a better paint finish.
What we do, we take the entire body off of it. You have a almost go-kart looking car. It's somewhat enclosed because the interior all stays in it and everything, so it's all drivable. And then we change the dash a little bit and change the seats a little bit, just cover them differently. But some things just shouldn't be done, and they're not done because of that reason. But there's a lot of things out there that have never been done that need to be done, and that's what we're here for.
Engine-wise, the most important thing on the 789 was the sound, so the V8 engine was the right choice.
Right on, man. It's all about the V8.
I mean, I just love the reaction people have when they see the car. You go to a gas station and it takes you 20, 25 minutes to get gas, and then you're almost feeling rude trying to leave because people are still gawking at the car and taking pictures and everything else. The 789 was the most fun I ever had building a car. Coming up with the ideas, coming up with the way it looked, coming up with just the bizarre, putting these three models together. People always say, well, why'd you have to make a 789? I mean, if you were an artist and someone asked you, why didn't you paint the Mona Lisa? You're an artist. Why would you copy what somebody else already did, right? You gotta make your own thing. I'm very proud of the 789. I think we did something out of the ordinary, definitely, but it was a very unique creation that got blood, sweat, and tears into it.
From a 50s fantasy to a vintage vet. If you've ever dreamt about taking to the open road, you've probably dreamt about driving this stone-cold American classic.
It looks like a fighter jet. It's a really eye-catching car. It just knocks your socks off.
Yet this baby almost didn't make it across the starting line.
Thunderbird outsold them 16,000 to 700 or something crazy like that.
This is the 1955 Corvette C1 V8.
They started making them in 1953, the C1, first generation. Those had an inline six. It was a bit of a dud.
In 1955, Chevrolet engineers swapped out the inline six and introduced a V8 engine.
The V8 really changed the game when it came to Corvette. It made it competitive, it made it faster. People started to race them. If they had put that V8 in there, I think it would have gone the way of the Edsel probably. All right.
This classic Corvette has been restored with a pure passion and saved from the scrap heap. A 2-year project restoring not just its looks, but its soul, too. No expense has been spared. The entire car was taken apart. The panels stripped back to bare fiberglass. Original 1955 rivets were sourced. This car was finally resprayed in its original color, Harvest Gold.
We knew we were going to do a complete restoration, top to bottom. Weeks and weeks and weeks of individual craftsmen working everything from getting the bodywork just right, getting the exact right parts that are supposed to go onto the car. And then we're talking about doors and hoods, trunks, a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, and a pretty good chunk of money. The attention to detail in this car is astonishing. You can see in the Chevrolet for V8, the big kind of angry scoop mouth on it. This pops up to conceal the top that's in there. We have these super duper futuristic tail fins, the little glass encased license plate back here. The swoops are right, the curves are right. It's just a mid-century masterpiece. So inside, very comfortable cockpit, interesting kind of roadster vibe here. No door handles, no window glass, very much open air. The upholstery's yellow, the center console bits are, and the dashboard are green. Little teeny rear view mirror.
This baby man looked the part. But man, I need to hear the sweet sounds of that Corvette V8.
Good old American muscle, and man, does it feel good. This is what the blood and guts and gasoline felt like 66 years ago. It is awesome. It really is awesome. Anybody who sees this car, who truly loves cars, is pretty well flabbergasted when they see it. You got to think about, in 100 years, this car is probably still going to be around. It's important to do it right so that people can know exactly what cars look like. It's an honor to be able to help a piece of history come back to life. And it looks now, after we've worked on it, looks exactly like it did when it was on the showroom floor.
It's time to take a trip out east to enjoy the beautiful state of Maine. Famous for its rocky coastline, its stunning sunsets, its amazing seafood, and perhaps less famously, for this V8 monster truck.
Just a reflection of where I've lived my whole life, the state of Maine, the coastline, being out on the water. It just ties it all together.
Yes, folks, a truck shaped like a gigantic lobster.
I guess if you don't like seafood, you're not probably going to be a fan.
This is the Crustation.
The idea behind this truck is, for a short time, I spent some time on the ocean fishing. We always like to tell everybody we just fell off the boat, hit our head on a rock, and then we went into monster truck racing. We wanted to build what really represents us, the state of Maine. We built a chassis in 1999, sat around for a long time. We had to take some time and regroup. Within 2 years, we was able to come up with this concept, take it down to some friends of mine at the local boat shop where we brought it to life. This truck, in 3 words, Maine-made monster.
Weighing in at a massive 11,300 pounds, Crustation has dominated the monster truck scene in recent years. Combining a bespoke space frame chassis, V8 engine, and a hardened shell of heavy-duty fiberglass, this larger-than-life lobster crushes cars and wows crowds across the country.
Here it is, Crustation. Everybody obviously knows what them are, the big tires we ride around on, shocks. You got your typical steering rams for steering in the front. Those are our rear steering pumps. We run 2 of them. We tried to keep the whole body lobster looking as much as we could. Got a claw. We call that up there the beak. Then you got the tail. You got your drive shaft cages, of course. You get into the heart of it right here, 565 cubic inch Chevrolet design motor. And as you can see, it's in the rear. And you got a lot of safety stuff we have to put on these trucks. There's wheel tethers in case you break a spindle. We don't want this baby coming off, rolling across an arena to roll. This here device, we turn with a joystick with a little toggle switch in it for right and left on the rear, and when we let go, we don't have to think where our tires are. They come back on their own. The 4-link bars, which is the suspension part of it, keeps the axles underneath the truck until I drive it, and then they usually come out of the truck because I wrecked it. There's a lot of people around watching us with these handheld, they look like walkie-talkies, and if they see something or the driver has some sort of an incident, shuts off the power to the truck, reducing anything from there on happening. It's a really good safety feature. These things are stronger than anything you guys drive up and down the street. Why do I love monster trucks? Because I'm a big kid. This ride's claim to fame is definitely doing the tail dragging wheelies. We're known as the wheelie guys.
V8 powered, baby.
The cockpit inside this truck is simple. One seat, one person only, strapped in. It handles really good. We love the way it races. Once you get used to it, it's a lot of fun. I think it's done what I wanted it to do. It gets people that weren't maybe into the sport. And as long as those fans get up and they cheer and they clap for us, we know we've done good. This is the ultimate ride because it's a big giant lobster.
From an all-conquering crustacean to Billy and his wicked Willy. Now, I love a passion project, especially when it's pure power.
I've always really been into go-fast cars. You can just go out and drive the wheels off it and have a big time.
But to hot rod a pickup, man, that takes commitment.
There's a, well, why did you do that? Why not?
Brother, this is one mean-looking ride.
When you drive by in this, people will go, did you see that Willy's pickup?
This is Willy's V8 pickup.
My wife Marcy and I, we started our shop out here on Marcy's family farm about 35 years ago. We build a hot rod shop in the middle of a wheat field, and they'll build it and they will come. And they did, so.
Hidden 20 miles from the nearest town lives the Oregon oasis of hot rod fanatics and brilliant builders, Billy and Marcy Holton. They love crafting cars, and this 1953 Willy's Jeep pickup is no different. Giving it a complete restoration, that's one thing, but Billy wanted this baby to sing, and to do so, you need one hell of an engine.
I built it originally in like 2003, done a bunch of modifications for it. I lowered it and put some modern suspension under it. It had a 134 cubic inch flathead 4-cylinder engine in it, and it was a 4-wheel drive. When I bought it, the engine was dead, and now it has a 302 Ford V8 in it. I've just never been into smaller engines. There's guys that put in V6s and stuff, but if you're gonna do it big.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. A V8 Willys, man, that's badass.
We put the bodies on rotisseries, that we've just done extensive modifications to the transmissions and engines and heating systems and various custom paint stuff and over the years. Just hours and hours of labor into them. This was just an old farm truck laying in a weed patch, and we, turned it into this.
This Willys is looking wicked. Billy has brought it to its best.
The hood here is a 68 Camaro hood. Underneath the hood, we got a mid-60s style 302 Ford. Got a line lock on it, which means it can lock up the front wheels so you can burn out. We took the fenders and we split 2 fenders and widened the fenders so they're double width. It's got a 9-inch Ford rear end, which is just real heavy duty. I like doing the flames to kind of go with the car. Instead of just having just a hard contrast of like black with red and yellow flames, I like to do things with a color coordinated. Pretty basic on the inside. We put a set of Wrangler bucket seats and then just modified the floor. We built a custom gauge panel and put custom gauges in it. Tilt steering wheel in it, and to go with the C4 automatic transmission and power brakes. We have a low car shifter. This looks like an old style 4-speed type shifter like in a truck, but it's actually a push button automatic.
Sneaky, I love it. But I want to hear the sweet sounds of this V8.
Well, Americans love the V8 power just because of the rawness of it and the feel of the horsepower. It was about 100 just a couple minutes ago. It does go down the road pretty good. All the neighbors wave at me because I'm the only one out here that's doing this type of stuff. There's always somebody else that's faster than you, but I'm faster than you. I believe the engine is the car's heart and soul. If the engine in this vehicle was more tame, was it milder, it wouldn't be as much fun.
What a legend, Billy and his Willy. And those vicious V8s were something else. 5 cars that'll just chew you up and spit you out without blinking. We'll see you next time right here on Ultimate Riders.